the northwest corner of County Waterford, pale stone towers peek out over the lush treetops in the town of Lismore. A castle of some form has stood on the grounds for over 1,000 years. In its early years, around 500 of them, it was a religious site serving as an abbey in the 7th century, and later as the palace of the Irish bishop in the 12th century. Throughout the medieval and early modern periods, the castle passed between several English peerages until it was acquired by the 4th Duke of Devonshire in 1753. Lismore Castle has remained the Duke's Irish estate ever since. As it stands today, Lismore Castle owes much of its appearance to extensive renovations undertaken during the 19th century, first between 1811 and 1815, and again between 1850 and 1860. The Bachelor Duke, the 6th Duke of Devonshire, William Spencer Cavendish, spurred both of these periods of renovation, overseeing the addition of new buildings, redecorating existing ones, and installing a Turkish bath. It was during the first set of renovations in 1814 when laborers working on the castle made a curious discovery. Hundreds of years before, someone had hidden a large, thick medieval Irish manuscript in the dense stone walls of Lismore Castle. Measuring 25 centimeters wide by 37 centimeters tall, the Book of Lismore is a grand compilation of poems, stories, and religious texts. Its current binding, a Cambridge-style leather cover decorated with floral embossing and gilt lettering, is a relatively modern application. After centuries of sitting in its unforgiving sanctuary inside Lismore Castle, the manuscript was in a sorry state. Its folios were loosely held together, and water damage stained almost every page. Over 200 years after those fateful renovations, the Book of Lismore remains a curious find. Its travel and seclusion, before and after its discovery, have made researching the manuscript difficult. As soon as it was uncovered, the Book of Lismore caused a flurry of excitement and, in its fragile state, was easily divided up. Some accuse laborers of taking pieces to sell, others suggest that the losses stem from amateur historians passing the book around their social circles, but the true fate of the missing pieces is unknown. Today, the Book of Lismore is missing about 55 folios from its beginning and end. These pages likely contained most of the information that researchers have since had to piece together: when it was made, who wrote it, and who it was for. We must now find these answers in the clues left on the margins, literally and figuratively, of its pages. Being a scribe was not exactly glamorous or exciting, and notes left throughout the book can give us some information about its origins. For hundreds of years, medieval Ireland faced various foreign arrivals coming from across Europe. With them, these foreign groups brought new ways of fighting, living, and speaking. But they were not the only ones spreading their influence across Ireland. By the 14th century, Gaelic dynasties had gained control of almost half of the land in Ireland and Scotland, leading to a resurgence of Gaelic languages and cultures. Finnegan McCarthy Riavach was a descendant of one of these dynasties, and around 1478 became Lord of Carbery, assuming control of Kilburton Castle in County Cork, the birthplace of the Book of Lismore. McCarthy Riavach and his wife Kathleen were known patrons of the scribe Einchas O'Callaghan, one of three who compiled the Book of Lismore. By piecing together clues from notes left in the book, scholars believe it likely that they, or perhaps McCarthy Riavach's parents, were the intended recipients. The Book of Lismore was not only a source of entertainment, but was also an assertion of the distinct value of Irish language and culture. It was a treasured heirloom passed down within the family for generations, and a coveted prize by outsiders. In June of 1643, Kilburton Castle was attacked by Lord Kinalmeaky, son of the Earl of Cork, and among his conquests was the Book of Lismore. Among the Earl's estates was Lismore Castle, and sometime after the siege on Kilburton Castle, the Book of Lismore was sealed within its walls, preventing another capture should Lismore itself fall under siege. There it sat for over 150 years.
Much of the Book of Lismore's long life has been spent in the possession of the Cavendish family, a British aristocratic dynasty holding the peerage of the Duke of Devonshire since 1694. The Cavendishes acquired Lismore Castle through marriage in 1753, and this estate, alongside many others in Ireland, remains in their possession to this day. The book itself was lost for a prolonged period. Aside from sporadic appearances, its whereabouts are unclear until it was rediscovered hidden in a wall during renovations to Lismore Castle. Upon its discovery, the book was then loaned to scholars in Cork for transcription, before it was mostly returned to Lismore around 1821. 66 leaves from the manuscript remained in Cork until 1860, when they were purchased by the 7th Duke of Devonshire. By 1930, the book was transferred to the Cavendish's ancestral seat of Chatsworth in Derbyshire, England. Aside from academic loans, the Book of Lismore was kept away from the public eye for almost a century after its move to Chatsworth, and was not placed on public display until a 2011 exhibition at UCC. In a press release on the return of the book to Ireland, the Chatsworth Settlement Trust describes how the Book of Lismore, written on vellum and being at least 150 years older than any other manuscript volume in the collection, offers a rare field of study of Gaelic Ireland. A shame, then, that it was sequestered from close physical study for such a prolonged period by the British aristocracy. Nonetheless, the Devonshires have enjoyed a close relationship with UCC since its establishment in the 1840s, contributing to the construction of the university's Crawford Observatory in 1878, and consistently donating to UCC's Munster Institute during the 20th century. The 12th Duke of Devonshire describes his and the Chatsworth Settlement Trust's decision to donate the book to UCC as a recognition of the university's curatorial expertise and impressive research collections surrounding the Gaelic language, emphasising the shared connections between UCC and his ancestral family. Moreover, Cavendish emphasises the intention of this donation
to recognise the strong and close ties between our two countries and the shared values and cultural links that make us so much more than neighbours.
The ties between Britain and Ireland are undeniably close, though Devonshire overlooks the problematic history between Ireland and Britain, riddled with the suppression of Irish culture and language with the penal laws, alongside the routine exploitation of the Irish people for many centuries. Key legislation restricting the Irish language includes the 1537 Statute of Ireland, banning the use of Gaelic in the Irish Parliament, with further legislation in 1541 banning the use of Gaelic in areas of Ireland under English control. This was followed by the Administration of Justice Act in 1737, prohibiting Irish in the courtroom and in legal documents, with hefty fines if these rules were broken. Indeed, this latter legislation was shockingly repealed only earlier this year. It is somewhat audacious, then, to emphasise these close ties between the British aristocracy and Irish institutions, especially related to language, from the midst of the penal era onwards. By not acknowledging any of the problematic aspects of the British aristocracy holding possession of this book, which they themselves have described as incomparably rare and valuable to Gaelic Ireland, Devonshire overlooks an integral aspect of the book's history.
The Book of Lismore is one of the most important manuscripts in Ireland, carrying deep cultural values which are mainly reflected in the following aspects. In this book, Irish myths such as the tale of Tuskegee show the heroes, mythological creatures recorded in tale how the ancient Irish heroes defend their homeland. The book holds the only surviving Irish translation of Macropolo's travels, a key resource for Irish language research. Mapping Macropolo journey revolves around those in Middle Europe literature and cultural exchange.
Content and historical context of the Book of Lismore are keenly appreciated by both our academic staff, for School of Irish Learning, History and English. These scholars have developed a specialist interest in this field and their active research on the book itself.
The denial of Irish Gaelic is evident, but the Book of Lismore can help revive its use. Searches for Irish Gaelic have surged since 2024, especially highlighting the Book Lismore's role in preserving Irish culture and literature. The book features biographies of saints, including St. Patrick's Law. St. Patrick's Day is on March 17th. From the early 17th century to now, Owen Aaron's key saint reflects his lasting influence. Rising celebrations spent highlights public respect and the Book of Lismore's cultural significance. Through data service, the rising consumption of people on St. Patrick's Day. Medieval Irish monks preserved and shared the European scripts of the Book of Lismore played a key role in cultural exchange. UCC translation of the Book of Lismore highlights Irish role in medieval cultural exchange. It symbolizes Irish heritage and influences modern cultural movements and writers like Wilde, Johnson, and Yeats. It inspired literature, art, and theatre, helping Ireland preserve cultural competence, especially during colonial times, by fostering natural independence. Today, the book remains a key resource for studying Middle Irish culture, Gaelic, and European cultural exchange.
In 15th century Ireland, books were not just vessels of knowledge, they were symbols of status. The Book of Lismore is one such treasure, handwritten on vellum with a quill pen and ink from natural pigments, each stroke requiring immense skill and patience. Unlike modern printing, medieval books were copied by hand, letter by letter. The intricate Celtic borders adorning these pages were not just decorative but symbolic. Interwoven knots represented eternity, while winding lines significated the continuity of life. Creating these pigments were no simple task. Red came from safflower or cinnabar, blue from the real lapis lazuli, and golden leaf symbolized divine authority. Despite centuries of wear, the colors remain remarkably vibrant, a testament to the craftsmanship of the time. As time passes, ancient books face a serious threat. Fluctuations in humidity can cause parchment to become brittle, ink to fade, and even the slightest touch can lead to irreversible damage. This makes preservation efforts crucial. Restoration specialists use high-powered microscopes to analyze paper fibers, carefully assessing damage. Special archival adhesives are applied to repair torn sections, while temperature and humidity are strictly regulated to prevent further deterioration. But physical restoration alone is not enough. Digitalization has become a powerful tool for safeguarding cultural heritage. At Cork University, high-resolution scanning captures each page in exquisite detail. Advanced contrast enhancement restores this faded text, while 3D scanning allows users to virtually flip through the book online. Historically, deciphering the Book of Lismore required experts fluent in medieval Irish. Today, AI is transforming that process. OCR technology converts handwritten text into readable digital text, while AI-powered NLP analyzes text patterns, identifies historical events, and improves translation accuracy. Looking ahead, how can we expand the influence of the Book of Lismore? Through virtual reality, we can step into the world of the book. Many museums and libraries are adapting VR and AR technologies to allow visitors to flip through and explore manuscripts in a digital environment. Imagine that visitors can use tablets or VR devices to see 3D distorted book pages and click on each word to view annotations, translations, or related historical background information. In the field of art and creativity, many designers may use the decorative elements in manuscripts and applying them to modern book covers, poster designs, and even closing prints. Such cross-border collaboration has revitalized medieval aesthetics,